What's up, Padawan? What's up, Padawan? Afrojoe, tell like a T.I. motherfucking is. Today we're going to talk about the whole trans conservatives and trans liberals with Jubilee, but this whole damn thing between Blair and Blossom and Alexander is bullshit. And to me, I think Blossom and Alexander are bullies because the whole start of this whole panel, the first thing they do is attack Blair. Nobody else on the panel but Blair. Blair has not attacked nobody. But these two have sat there and attacked Blair for no fucking reason. Just come off the real. And Blossom is a piece of shit for using her goddamn right. As a black person, that was fucked up. You're mixing race with sexuality or race with the trans. And that's the fucked up part. And it started getting bad is when they started talking about the restroom deal. And I thought it was like, okay, Blossom's full of shit if they're just gonna argue over the whole bathroom shit. If that's what it's gonna be. But I'm gonna show you what's up. I'm gonna show you.
Look at me.
No,
Looking like
it's just interesting that I thought this was a trans debate. That's what I thought.
Non-binary people.
Non-binary
people.
Oh. Bedrooms because the third point, and there's just some poor photo.
Female too is it's being a non-binary.
A show that truly.
Or it was a video that went viral, I think like just 2 weeks ago, with some like whole man with a boner in the women's restroom. And there's just some poor woman filming it. Like, am I just supposed to like accept that this is here? So I think there's levels to it. I think that trans women who are actually trans, we're talking gender dysphoria, transitions, making the effort, probably once you reach a certain point in your transition where you can actually assimilate within that space and not cause a disruptance, that would probably be the ideal time to start doing that, right? Whereas, a cross-dresser who is emboldened to, in this current climate, say that they're trans because now anything is trans if you say so, that person should probably stay absolutely out of women's restrooms because you're there to get your rocks off and the women are there to take a poop and a pee. So it's not the same. And I really empathize with women who, have an issue with it. And I can probably hear some women commenting, well, how do I know the difference between a fetishist and a real trans person? It's hard. It's hard. However, that's the only nuance that I know to give to it, which is there's different reasons people are trans, and some people really are trans because they're horny, and some people are trans because they really felt that way from, a young age or whatever.
See, I agree to an extent. Like, when you go to transition, and this is a fairly universal experience, once you get to a certain point of passing, that's about.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Andrew, I felt bad for Andrew. Andrew didn't bother nobody, but Blair makes a fucking point. Blair makes a valid good point. That's what keeps coming up in these conversations about the bathroom ordeal. The whole man putting on a dress, walking into the women's bathroom, and doing that, playing with themselves or pleasuring themselves in the bathroom. That's what's causing the trend. I'm not trans, but that's what's causing issues with the trans community and the straight community because of that issue right there. Right there. And I agree with Blair on it. And Andrew, I like Andrew. Andrew is saying the same damn thing. Saying this, here we go.
About the time that you would start going into the other bathroom as opposed to not make the same sex uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Once you reach that point in your transition, a lot of things change, but you start to see things from another perspective. You start to see things from the perspective of a cis person.
Yeah.
And I actually offer some solutions to this because I believe the free market can handle all of this stuff because in government-run and government-funded buildings, there should always be a third space for us to use. And I do. When I go to the Capitol and stuff like that, I always use third spaces. But I think that private property owners can make the rules for their establishment and figure out how to enforce those rules.
I mean, I wouldn't say third spaces.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you on that. The reason why I'm stopping this on there because she said third bathroom, and I'm gonna say this because this is where the racism should be inserted, right there in the when she brought up third bathroom. The reason why there won't be a third bathroom is because every time they bring it up, everybody's mind go back back in the 50s with racism. That's why they won't put a third bathroom in than trends. Because what happened in the 50s where there was blacks only and whites only. There is a third there is a third bathroom. There's men, women, and unisex. That's all. And I've said this before in several videos, and that's all they need is men, women, and unisex. If private companies or private businesses don't want to do that, you can't sit there and bullying them into that because it's their own business. It's private business. It's not gonna. It's like me walking up in your house and walking in your bedroom and going to sleep. You won't like that. So you can't force a private business to put a third bathroom in. You just can't. It's like that. It's like me walking in your house, going to sleep in your bed. It's a private place. Same with your bathroom. It's a private place. But I see it as that. You cannot force private business to bend at your will. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You just don't go to that business. But you just can't do that. But I had to insert that in. That's the only time you insert racism is the bathroom issue. That's the only time I see you should insert the racism. That is it. Anywhere else in this matter of they talking about bathrooms, but anywhere else in the whole transgender conversation, racism should not be inserted. But this is the only time it should, because they're talking about bathrooms. And the reason why I say that is because back in the 50s, the bathroom thing was some shit. Fucking totally joke. And that's all it is. They should not sit there and say that. They should not say, "Well, that's not racist about the bathroom." It is. Back in the 50s, they make black people go to the bathroom, have blacks on the bathroom, and whites on the bathroom. It's the only time racism should be inserted is right there in the bathroom. But Blair and Andrew are right. Blair most definitely is right. Andrew is right because what they are saying about the bathroom. But we're going to get right back into it.
For trans
Exactly.
people,
Like
just
we're in a state
in
right
general.
now. We're in a state right now where you have to allow anybody to whatever restroom they want.
If you're a decent human being, you do what causes the least disturbance. So for example, I filmed a YouTube video a few years ago where I entered a men's restroom just because I was responding to comments who were like, well, maybe you should use a men's restroom if you really feel like the way you feel. And so I said, okay, let's do it. Let's put a camera. And I was kicked out within seconds of the entire establishment, and it was a whole ruckus. So that's what I mean by if you're a decent person, you do what causes the least amount of problems for people around you. And if you're, a moral person, you're going to be conflict avoidant in general when it's something like that, right? It's like, what's the point of causing issues for anyone, especially if you're really just trying to pee,
So just put
get
your
it
head
done.
down, go in, get out.
Right.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
I want to comment on Blair's point. The one thing I kept hearing through all of the nuance is passability.
I never
Because
said that.
ultimately, when we talk about passability, it determines how you get harassed in the bathroom.
Okay, sorry about the video quality, but the voice you heard says, let's talk about what Blair just said. That was Blossom. Blossom Brown. There she go with her fucking bullshit bully. She's about to bully the fuck out of Blair, and Blair didn't do a fucking thing to her. And I noticed that. Blair didn't do shit, but here come fucking Blossom about to do the attack on Blair, and all Blair says the bathroom thing should not be fixed. Where if you're a man in the dress, you shouldn't use the women's bathroom. But here comes Blossom with her bullshit, about to start bullying Blair, and Blair didn't do a fucking thing. Here we go.
Because honestly, if you don't look so passable or whatnot, people are going to say, oh, that's a man with a dress on, and then there's going to be discourse. But the reality of it is, honestly, Who cares who's trans and who's cis going in the bathroom? You should be minding your own business, being able to pee and do your business in peace.
Okay. I'm gonna say it right here, right there. You sit there and say, "Who cares? Who cares?" A lot of people care, and the reason why people care is because what has happened, what is has came out. Of one, a man assaulting a woman, getting hurt. A man assaulting a woman goes to court, and when the judge sentenced him to time in prison, the man said, "I identify as a woman." They sent him into a woman's prison where he assaulted 3 more females and getting them pregnant. That's why people care, because that right there, I'm going to say it like this. With this whole shit with the pronouns and binary shit, I'm going to say what Blair going to say in this video. Y'all are, that whole binary pronoun shit is leading up to the Rachel Dolezal effect. That's why I call it first time I sit there and heard the pronoun bullshit, I said, "Uh-oh, you're opening up a door for people like Rachel Dolezal to walk in and say, she's this, she's that." I call it the Rachel Dolezal effect because you're giving people a chance to find a loophole or get out of things. "Oh, you're hating on me because I'm trans," and you got a full-grown beard. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I only know several. I don't know these people personally, but I've listened to Blair White, Buck Angel, Flamin' Roll. That is a comedian that is trans. They all 3 of these are trans people have said the same fucking thing about that area. Trans women are trans women. But this bitch right here, this Blossom Brown bitch, think because she can use her race to get whatever the fuck she want, can bully somebody just to get what she wants. That's what she wants. She wants to bully people to get what she wants because that's how she is. But I'm gonna continue on with
For
this.
the most part, that conversation around this man with a boner on or whatever like that, I saw that picture and I thought to myself, that's really a right-wing talking point and conservative propaganda because that's their ideology.
How is it
when it
was a
comes
thing
to
that
trans.
happened.
I'm speaking. That's their ideology when it comes to trans is because conservatives have a basic level understanding of what transness is in the first place. And with all due respect, I do not think any of you are basic, but they use you as the baseline to amplifying this propaganda.
How is it
ask you a question.
propaganda if it's a thing that really happened? It was caught on video. Like it was an actual occurrence. It wasn't
Okay.
staged. It happened, and that's
Again, I agree with Blair. Evidence has been shown about an issue. Evidence has been shown about an issue. But Blossom is calling it bullshit. He's saying the incident about the man in the women's bathroom with the was bullshit, even though there was video and pictures or video. She's saying it's BS. She's calling it BS. It's like, really? And this has happened over time. But she's saying stuff like that is BS. She don't want to believe it. It's like a lot of things I don't want to believe. A lot of people didn't want to believe R. Kelly was a pedophile. But they found out he was a pedophile. And that's how it is. And I said this, Alexander, dude, you're not even trans, but I'm going to show you the binary bullshit later. But this is what I mean by Blossom bullying. Calling all the evidence bullshit and fake and fucked up and so on and so forth just to get her point across because she's full of shit. Ooh, I'm going to continue and get on.
not the only. It's not an isolated
But
incident.
that's not enough for me to say because actors can do that. Who knows? They could have been an actor trying to make a point against trans people. But this has always been our battle.
Hold on. How you gonna say actor? How you gonna say actor for one? if a male actor, a biological male actor, wants to go up for roles that has to deal with a man wearing a dress, that will go up to a trans person or a drag queen and learn from them. That will not walk in some fucking bathroom and say, I'm gonna pull my dick out and show you my business. That's the type of bullshit Blossom is doing, trying to say, what happened was bullshit. That might have been an actor. Da 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 da. No, do not make these fucking excuses. Do not make excuses to get your point across. And that's what Blossom is doing. Same with Alexander. To me, out of all the people on this panel, why is Blossom and Alexander the only one that makes no fucking sense? Everybody else had made sense. Angie made sense. Blair had made sense. Jessica made sense. Almost everybody except for Blossom and Alexander never made no fucking sense. They was just trolling and bullying.
It's just like, from what I just heard you were saying with your talking points, because I did understand what you were saying. I just got the word passability out of there, and
Which I didn't
to
say
a-
that word at all.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying
he
that
said
word.
passability.
I'm saying
She didn't say it. He
I'm-
did. And the
I'll say
problem,
it.
the left.
Okay, I can't.
The
I
problem
couldn't
with
hear. I just.
And the funny thing is, I like it how they keep calling Blossom. He said that. He said that. He said that. I don't know if he was like for real. I thought he was calling Blossom. If they call it Blossom, and that's fucking funny as fuck. And I'm sitting there laughing my ass off on that shit. But let's continue.
Couldn't hear back there.
The
But no, what I was
liberals,
saying
the
was,
liberals always use the.
yeah. No, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying you said that word. What I was getting out of what you were saying, the one word that was coming to me was passability. This is Blossom saying it. And so passability politics is really a thing in our trans community, especially when we come to the debate of restrooms.
Well, you can say it's politics, but actually it's just real life, right? It's just about
Correct.
where
I
you're
agree.
able to assimilate to and where you're not. And I think one of the biggest problems in the trans community is the community by and large has seemed to reject assimilation and seems hell-bent on...
That's not true.
I think it's absolutely true, which is you see people talking about how you don't need to work on your transition at all to enter women's restrooms. And I think that that is so selfish.
That drives
so
me crazy.
It's so disregarding of women who may or may not feel
But
uncomfortable.
the trans woman experience is not monolithic. So who are we
I
to
never said it
police
was.
transness? Why are we policing other people's transness
I'm
and
just
how they
listening to
show
women.
up?
We have to
But why
protect
we-
women.
Why are y'all policing though? That's what I don't understand.
See, there she go with that racist shit. There she go with that racist shit. Talking about policing trans. See, that's a racist term when you say policing. That's a term that black folk use when police fuck with people. It's policing. That's the point right there. She's certain racism into something she don't need to do. It started to, one, they never said policing trans. Two, she said we're listening to biological women. If they feel uncomfortable, they feel uncomfortable. You got to remember, you're not a biological woman. When that biological woman says a man in a dress insulted me, that judge is going to look at you as a fucking man. That judge is going to sit there and say, that man raped that woman, not my bad, assaulted that woman and lock your ass up in a man's prison. You can sit there and say all fucking day that you are a trans woman. But when that woman yells, great, grape, great, everybody knows what I'm saying, but great, and that motherfucking that dress grape me, you can't get yourself out of it. So Blossom, shut your bitch ass sellout Uncle Tom's house Negro ass up. Cause you ain't worth the shit any goddamn way. Cause you making yourself look bad and you making black trans look like shit. And I'm glad that they said you're making black, I mean not black, but you're making trans look like shit.
You're using words
There's
that we're not
policing.
using. It's not policing. We're listening
is
to women.
policing.
And if you have 50%, we won't say 50%, but if you have a large chunk of the population of women saying that they are uncomfortable with a certain thing, a good person leans in and listens.
So
They
why are
don't
you
just
not listening
reject
to
it.
other trans women, Blair?
I
think
do
that's-
all day. I am right now.
But you didn't, and I'm not trying to be combative or whatever like that. I'm just trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, what the middle ground would be between you and I, because you said one side and that's great, but what about the side of trans women? If we're not bringing both sides into this conversation,
Here's what I would say
then it
then.
is unbalanced.
Here's what I would say then, because I do understand both sides. I didn't, I'm almost a decade into my transition, which means I was one time a year in, 6 months in, 2 months in. So I understand that. But I also knew at the very beginning of my transition that if I'm not at a place physically where I'm not making people feel uncomfortable, or I'm making people uncomfortable, then
Right.
that's on me. That's my
Correct.
responsibility to make sure that I'm going places a certain way to make sure that they're comfortable.
Because it's for your safety also, too, right? Would you also say that you're safe?
Well,
Your
I know
safety
that
plays a part.
you seem to be looking at through the lens of always trans being the priority. I'm looking at it through the lens of women being the priority here. There's plenty
Well,
of situations
Why? I just want to know
because
why
it's them who
around
would
that.
fall victim.
I got a question. Why does Blossom C. Brown want segregation? I just noticed that. You see, this is a black trans person, and I'm questioning that. Why is a black person wanting segregation so fucking badly? That's a derogative term. Not a derogative term, but that's a term that the black community don't like is segregation. But this person, as a black person, she is fighting tooth and nail for segregation. She's trying to fight tooth and nail for segregation. I'm just noticing that now. And I'm noticing that she's sitting up there saying, women, like, really using racism as a way to get in where she can fit in. You can't. You can't do that to bully yourself. You can't bully somebody with your race and then suspect that everybody kiss your ass. But to me, it's like this. Blossom is a bully, and she's a racist, and she's a fucking sellout. And I'ma always see this sellout as this fucking sellout. Bitch, take your ass back on the plantation and mind your fucking business. Because it looks like you want to pick some goddamn cotton. And this is coming from a black man. Not no white man. Not no white supremacy. This is coming from a black man saying you are the white supremacist. Take your ass back on that plantation, bitch.
To not actual trans women, as I said, but people posing as trans women,
have
people
an
who
answer.
are
But trans
actually
women are
sexual.
also victims of that as well.
I'm sorry. I would love it if the two of you have said your piece, and I would love to hear.
Yeah,
what you
everybody
guys
else
I
needs
just
to
want to
talk.
make this
Nobody
point.
else is
I just want to
talking.
make this point as well. But trans women also experience violence and also need
No
that
doubt.
protection. And so that's the
No
thing.
doubt.
Like, it should be an even playing field. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Points that are being made here from the conservative side because I grew up conservative. I voted when I was 18. I voted for fucking Bush. Y'all. Damn, girl. Like I was conservative. Okay.
So we're the same age.
So it was not until my later age that I kind of decided, like, you know what? Let me be more open to different types.
You're talking about.
Here's the thing about a lot of
That's true.
the people who identify as non-binary, so to speak. When they do so, they typically don't medically transition.
Right.
And
Okay, this is the binary part. I had to fix it where we're talking about people saying that they're binary. This is where they're not talking bad about Alexander, but this is the part where do you see? It says you see, it should non-binary. It says non-binary should not be considered under the trans umbrella. This is what they're talking about. Should non-binary people be considered as trans? And that's what they're talking about, or be grouped in with trans people. That's what they're talking about right now. And this is where Alexander wants to cause an issue.
when you do so, that at that point, it's a costume.
Well,
Like-
it's gender nonconformity, right? And so we, as,
Because they
as
can
Blair's
take
saying,
this off. I can't take this off.
Yeah, as Blair's saying, we look at gender nonconformity, which used to
I'm gonna say this: Andrew is the guy in the red shirt. Did y'all hear what he said? Non-binary people can take it off. I can't take this off. And that's a trans man. Fuck can say the same thing. I can't take this off. Andrew just said, I can't take this off, but a binary person can. Which Alexander, the motherfucker with the yellow beret on, is going to start some fucking issues. Continue.
Be okay. You can wear what you want. You can present however you want, but it doesn't make you something different. You can't, as Blair was saying, it comes out of queer theory, which is postmodern neo-Marxism, which means that there's no such thing as absolute truth. They don't believe there's truth, so it kind of erodes the structure of society. And it's actually really regressive in a lot of ways because you end up getting it to where it's literally based off of stereotypes, which we've tried to for so long get rid of. Like, it's okay to be gender nonconforming male or gender nonconforming female, and that didn't make you non-binary. It didn't make you trans.
When I meet a trans person, right, like a trans woman, a trans man, there is an inherent camaraderie. Like when you mentioned, I can't take this off, part of me almost got a little bit emotional. I know it's hard to believe people think I have emotions, but I really do. And because I saw you in that moment, and I said, you know what, we are similar in that way. We may be different in other ways. We don't know each other very well, but we have that. When I talk to or I'm around a non-binary person, it doesn't really click, it doesn't connect because it is so different. So I think that's inherently, I should be able to see some semblance of my own issue within that person, and I don't when they're non-binary at all.
And so I have no issue with non-binary people. I just don't think that we're the same.
Yeah, same.
And so when like I was saying before, like when our acceptance rate has completely been destroyed because these people are initiating violence in our name, they're gonna self-ID out of the category, and then we're gonna be the ones left holding the bag.
Yeah, it's just, if sex is a binary and you're neither of those, then you're not trans.
See right there, they proved a hellified point. They proved a hellified point on that. And it's true. What they just said was actually true. That non-binary people can jump in and jump out anytime they fucking want and leave the trans people with the bag. And they say they can't click with you. They can't click with you because you don't have nothing to click with or have nothing in common with them. Like if you look at a lesbian woman and a gay guy, they can click. The reason why? Because they love the same sex. They're not gonna fuck. What they're gonna do? They're gonna talk. That's what they're gonna do. Oh, they're gonna become friends because they have something in common. She likes women, he likes men. They're gonna click because they see something they can connect with. They have something to connect with. Both of them are gay. But a binary person trying to say, well, I can connect with a trans person. In what way? In what way? Oh, I don't have to have surgery to be binary. I don't got to have surgery to be trans. The trans woman says begs to differ. The trans man begs to differ. That's how it is. They are right. They can't click. They can't see nothing to see themselves clicking with non-binary people. But let's get back to it because you're going to see what Alexander had to say.
I think it would be really hard for a cis person to truly imagine what it's like to be trans and what it's like to live with that and be born that way. And I'm not non-binary, and so I really cannot picture what it would, because I'm a binary trans person. I can't imagine what it's like to be in between that. But just like how the cis person can't really truly understand that, it doesn't mean that it's not a thing and it's not real. And I really believe that we have like 85 years like on this earth, and like so many people spend so much time being like sad and uncomfortable in their bodies. And if we were just all comfortable, like if somebody like wants to go by a name and like dress a certain way and they are saying, this makes me so comfortable, this is what makes me happy, there is no reason they shouldn't do that. And my God, there is no reason why we should say, well, you're not a part of this because like this is us and like this is whatever. Because literally like we could all sit here and agree that like non-binary people are like not a part of the trans community or whatever, which is not my opinion. But we could like, that doesn't like change anything. Like we have a vast community. And I believe that non-binary people are a part of the community because I have so many shared experiences with so many non-binary people I know. We have very similar experiences in growing up with dysphoria, with transition, with anything, and nobody has to do anything. Nobody has to transition in a way they don't want to transition. And yeah, like let's be a happy family. My God, let's all just be happy. That's my vibe.
Yeah. fight the fight together.
Yeah, like,
because
let's do
honestly,
it. Like,
We have
unite.
separate fights, though. That's the thing.
No, we
I don't know if it
We're
is.
weakening our borders, creating this divide within our own community. This is so silly. Look, I actually understand like a lot of the points that are being made here from the conservative side because I grew up conservative. I voted when I was 18. I voted for fucking Bush. Yo.
Damn, girl.
Like I was conservative. Okay.
So we're the same age.
So it was not until my later age that I kind of decided, like, you know what? Let me be more open to different types of communication, different types of people. I actually talked so much shit about pronouns, like they, them, all this. I was like, what is this trash? When it first started really coming out, I did not disagree. I did not agree with it. I was like, what is this? This is stupid. How can you be a them? Blah, 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 blah.
You were
and I did the
correct.
whole thing, the grammatically. You're interrupting me.
But you were correct. I'm
But
just saying. I'm agreeing with
They
you.
asked you not to comment, and you're commenting. So if you could stop, that would be great. Thank
whatever.
you.
You see that? You see how Alexander just went off of I'm sorry about the video, but you hear it in audio. But Alexander's the motherfucker with the beret, yellow beret. For one, you got Blair White agreeing with you on that topic, that little comment you made. When you snap on her, oh, they told you to be quiet, shut the fuck up. One, take that tone, take that bass out your tone. Two, you better be glad motherfuckers ain't there, cause your ass be laying in the ditch some goddamn way. I'm not trying to say nobody. But she was agreeing with you. I would have took that as a consideration that she's agreeing with me. I'm not gonna sit there, shut the fuck up, bitch, even though you're agreeing with me. Like, dude, you're already bullying that she's agreeing with you. That's the thing.
So anyway, as I was saying, so I changed my mind because I got to spend time around other people who were non-binary, who were non-conforming, and I got to speak with them and I got to experience their life and their experiences. And then I realized myself, I'm like, shit, maybe this is what I've been experiencing my whole life, only because I was exposed to it. If I would have never been exposed to it, I would have never known that this could have been my experience. And I would have lived the rest of my life as a different person, as somebody who I'm not. And it's funny that you keep talking, that some people keep talking about, oh, you need to go through HRT, you need to have surgeries in order to be trans. That is all garbage.
Another thing I never said. It's just so crazy.
Again,
I did.
You're still interrupting me while I'm talking. This is the second time now.
You're addressing me,
This
and
is
you-
the second time now.
If you can claim someone said something they didn't say, they should be able to correct you in the moment.
Do you feel good now that you said what you needed to say?
I feel fine.
Wonderful.
I'm sitting pretty. I'm fine.
So, I mean, sometimes it's like the power that needs to hold me back.
I mean, you're
because
appropriating a medical condition. That's what you're really doing.
I exist. I am proof that non-binary people exist and that it is a thing. And because I'm sitting right here in front of all of you, I'm a real person. This is my experience, just as yours is a trans experience. That as a trans woman, as a trans man, or as whatever. But I'm not here to belittle your experience or to tell you that you don't exist. And that's the difference between you and I, that you're trying to cancel you.
Actually, Alexander, you are there to say they don't exist. And Blair did not say nothing to you or bad about you. It was somebody else that said something, but you quick to jump on Blair. So that shows you was talking to Blair from the beginning. Same with Blossom, Sellout, Brown, or let me take that back. Blossom Coon nigga. I mean, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Blossom House Negro. Oh my God. Let me correct it. Blossom's Plantation. Oh my God. Blossom is Alexander Slay. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I did not mean that. Oh my God. I apologize. I can't even get her name right. But Blossom Brown, y'all bullying Blair. See, you targeting her and she didn't say nothing to y'all. But you are sitting there as a binary person saying none of these transgender people exist. You are the Rachel Dolezal of the trans community. Take that, you piece of shit.
And when I say you, I'm talking about conservatives. And maybe it is you. You're part of the thing. You're part of the thing.
Here's where I get to.
Hold on. He's got some racism in that because the way he said that, it was so fucked up. Even I got pissed off and ready to knock the fuck out of him. You can say, I'm a hurt. No, you're a him, motherfucker. Bitch, you got a beard. look, I ain't never seen no female with a full grown beard that can out drink a motherfucker. You got a beard, you're a fucking man that needs to get knocked the fuck out, pretty much.
Why?
That's
Because
not
there's a lot of
okay.
things said about
Stop
me.
addressing her and just talk to everybody.
But what is your dysphoria?
Well, there was something.
I'm gonna let you.
Okay. So another complete, I don't want to say the word lie, but I guess that's what it is about what I've said here, right? I never said you don't exist. So we can add that to the long list of things y'all have said I've said that I didn't. We know you exist. You're here. You're not fictitious, right? My point is you're different than me, and I don't even think you deny that, but yet when I say it, it's an issue, right? The same way that he said he can't take that off, you can, right? It's different. At the very least, it's different. And when we have a community that there are so many categories, demi-girl, demi-boy, astrosexual, all this shit, but y'all can't fathom that maybe that would be a different category than what I am when we have such different, as you keep saying, and everyone keeps saying, experiences? It doesn't make sense. A bisexual is different than a gay man.
Can I ask a question? I just actually want to ask you a question. What is your dysphoria, though? Because gender dysphoria, or sex dysphoria, as I would rather call it, is an uncomfortability between my secondary sex characteristics, not just what I wear on a daily basis, because masculinity and femininity doesn't have anything to do with being trans.
But that's not true. But that is not true. You can have dysphoria without having to be dysphoric about your sex.
Okay, Alexander, let me correct your dumbass. Like I said, I agree with Blair and I think Lauren is her name. I'm sorry. And gender dysphoria is a real thing. One, Blair has it. Two, Buck Angel has it. Three, Chloe Cole is the prime example of gender dysphoria. Chloe Cole, a 19-year-old girl, will tell you she has gender dysphoria. There is no other. There's gender dysphoria is exactly what this young lady just said. It's about fitting. It's about trying to feel comfortable in the skin you in, and you think that you need to modify yourself to feel comfortable. Then you realize you made a mistake. It's like depression, which some transgender people will say gender dysphoria is like depression or somewhere near depression. I'm not trying to talk down about transgender people, but they will say that. Gender dysphoria is real. It's a depression. And Chloe Cole is the prime example for gender dysphoria. Alexander, you don't have it. You just a man putting on fucking makeup and throwing female clothes. You're a drag queen. You're RuPaul in it. You too one fool, motherfucker. That's all it is.
Parts.
But what is your
you can have
dysphoria?
dysphoria
What is
about
your
anything.
dysphoria?
Straight cis women have dysphoria about their breasts all the time. They get breast augmentation.
not dysphoria.
That doesn't mean that doesn't.
That is not gender dysphoria. Women getting breast augmentations or reproductive surgery is not gender dysphoria. That is another medical thing. Women that do get breast reduction they get it on several different reasons. One, because it's causing a health issue. Two, one is causing a health issue, which means it's pulling on their back muscles where they can't sit up or function. Two, because they got breast cancer. You cannot compare breast reduction or you can't sit there and say women that gets breast reduction from a gender dysphoria. It's not. It's not. For decades, women has went through cutting off their breasts because they had breast cancer, or had to reduce their breast size because it was actually straining their back or causing health issues. But you're comparing two different things. It's like comparing an apple to an orange. Gender dysphoria has nothing to do with breast or breast reducing breast size, whatever. But you don't understand. I know more than you do, and I'm not even trans, gay, lesbian, bi. No, I'm a straight black man that's sitting up here paying attention. Why can't you? I know I went to private. I know I went to public school. I wonder if you went to private because I'm understanding more than you are.
Doesn't mean that I'm not dysphoric about certain things. That doesn't mean that. And you don't know my life. You're not in my life
Well, that's
daily.
why I asked you a question.
You don't know what
I
I
cannot-
experience, the different things that I experience personally.
I cannot believe that I grew up as, you know, this 5-year-old little kid experiencing just crippling gender dysphoria, like horrible thoughts, struggled so much my entire life to be sitting in this room and you're explaining to her what dysphoria is.
I have my experience. It
It's
doesn't mean that I didn't
amazing.
have crippling.
You got a different
It doesn't
experience.
mean
You
that
got a
I
different
myself-
We all have a different. We all have a
We all have
different.
different experiences.
Which makes us different.
I know, but we're all both not.
Okay.
It's okay,
Different
y'all.
things. That's it. It's that
Okay,
simple.
okay.
We don't identify as our gender at birth.
Obviously, I'm not a non-binary person, so I can't speak for non-binary people, but I can talk about what I've been taught by non-binary people. From what I understand, when it comes to some non-binary people, sometimes they have to go into the gender binary for safety reasons, depending on the environment that they're in. A non-binary person stepping into this world and dismissing the gender norms of what people think a man and a woman is supposed to be like is so powerful. If you don't want to be mutable to the times of the expansion of the trans and non-binary experience, then just say that. I would rather you just say that you are not willing to move forward, learn the new terminology, learn the new pronouns that come with the trans umbrella and the trans.
I got a question because it's just popped in my head. If I can meet Alexander, the first thing I will ask him is, do you know what it's like for a female to be great or SA? Do you know what she's feeling? You have a tool, she don't. But I question, do you know what she's feeling? Do you know what a female is feeling when she gets raped, SA, and degraded? Most women, they do perish themselves because of rape, SA. But you are sitting here as a binary person talking about I'm part of the dream. You like that black bitch off of Medea's Family Reunion. Byron, Byron, you like that. You just the white version. Yeah.
Experience for the most part. And also, I'm sorry, one more thing. And also, too, there are non-binary people who have different sexual orientations. Let's also name that, too. There are so many layers of nuance that we could really get to when it comes down to the root of what being non-binary is.
But what's the definition?
But it doesn't make them trans.
My big thing when it comes to, I agree with a lot of the things that you just said. I actually love you. I adore you.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you.
But here's the thing, right? That's not the prompt. The prompt was, is it different? And it is. Again, when I go out, I can't like take my beard off, girl. It's not coming off.
Right.
Unfortunately, as much as I hate having facial hair despite being a guy, like
Real.
it. Yeah. Like I can't go and reshape my body. I can't go and shave my Adam's apple down. I've been on this since I was 15. What if it had gone wrong?
So I have an interesting experience with non-binary myself, as someone who has presented as a binary trans man. I also don't take testosterone. So for me, especially throughout my transition, I took testosterone for a short period of time just to get the beard and the aesthetics that I wanted to in my transition. And once I reached those goals, I personally didn't want to lose my access to being able to give birth to a kid, especially with being with my wife for 17 years. We've been wanting to have kids, so I wanted to, have a backup uterus, so to speak. And in that process of doing that, I've discovered a lot about myself and my own identity of what is a man and what is a woman. And for me, when I take a look at the issue and the conversation, there's kind of two things happening. Simultaneously, our community is infighting with each other instead of looking outwardly at these structural systems that are actually truly affecting us with laws, politics, access to medical care, and et cetera. While simultaneously, we see that the idea of fitting into the patriarchal structures, the misogyny, everything that is kind of placed in us, I don't subscribe to that. I mean, I all my life have been breaking the rules of what a gender ideology is just by my pure existence. I didn't grow up with the idea of knowing what trans was my entire life. I discovered that actually being homeless. I didn't discover that through some collegiate access to college or influence from others. There was no one around me that knew or that I knew it was trans. I discovered that myself. But as I've aged in my transition, because I've been trans for damn near almost 20 years now, I've discovered my own fluidity in that area because I actually enjoy my female side too.
Doctors are manipulating trans medical care.
I think there's 3 types of doctors out there. I think there are the ones who
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Right off the rip, I would say this. To answer that question, if I was there, I said, yeah, look at my homegirl. If I was fucking Blair White, the first thing I would have said, yes, they are. Look at my friend Chloe Cole. Look what happened to her. They put on her. She thought she was trans at such a young age. I think 11. At 13, she got put on the pills. At 15, she had her breast taken out. At 13, she was on hormone blockers. At 15, they misdiagnosed the girl. At 17, her breast was cut off. And at 18, she realized she wasn't trans. The girl was misdiagnosed. The doctors wanted money. They did not help the girl whatsoever. I would have said, yeah, look at Chloe Cole, the prime example of doctors not treating her correctly and gender dysphoria.
absolutely think that they're doing this for the right reasons. I think that there are the ones who are absolutely doing it for money, like we saw at Vanderbilt. The people at Vanderbilt literally said this is a huge moneymaker. And then I think that there are, I don't know if it's incompetence or ineptitude.
Yeah, there is a hospital called Vanderbilt. It's in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, they're reckless because all they care about is money. Vanderbilt doesn't care nothing about the person. They care about money. That's all they care about. And that's all it is. That's all they care about is money. That's all it has to do. They care about money. That's it. But you're right, but
Or laziness. Because what we're seeing, not just in the trans community, we're seeing in society, SSRIs being pushed on patients. Mental health doctors are pushing so many different drugs without getting to the root issues.
See, I have an interesting perspective on this. I've been out for 11 years this year. I've been on testosterone since I was 15 years old. And even looking into it, I waltzed my little ass up into that doctor's office and I left on testosterone. He gave me my first shot in the doctor's office that day. Oh my gosh. I was 15 years old. What if I had been wrong? What if I had been wrong? It really just is that simple.
I'm joining mid-convo.
Wow, nice to see you.
Because I think I don't think it's like a huge widespread issue, but I think when we have like a for-profit healthcare system, it does happen. Like I feel like there are I believe that people should be evaluated and go through tests. And like for me, getting on testosterone and getting surgery was a massive process in my life. But I do think that it probably happens. Just like you said, like with SSRIs and stuff, like things are overprescribed.
So I do think it's a massive issue. I think that society in general, as Sarah mentioned, is over-medicalized right now. We're in this weird climate where there are entire political movements behind if you do or you don't have a vaccine, you can't enter this building if you do, you can if you do, it's like crazy. But, when it comes to the trans issue, I think just the fact that there were really almost no detransitioners as recent as like 5-6 years ago, and the fact that it's exploded now shows that it is a massive issue. And, I think that I can reflect what you said. I was over 18 when I started my hormones, but I had a 20-minute appointment, and just like you, I walked in and out with an estrogen prescription. Insane. I wasn't tested for my levels.
I didn't have to see a therapist first.
No.
I had no letter.
And you were a child.
I was a
That's
child.
crazy.
I was
So,
15
and
years
that
old.
is a very,
in
very
one of the most
common-
conservative states in the
see, that's why I've listened to Buck Angel because he said he did this like 30 years ago. that he had to go to therapy for years to see if he still felt the same after several years. He he said that he went through all that back then. He said it took him a long time to even get the surgery to become who he is. But he said, and he noticed it now. Oh, it's like that where, uh, if it's like that now, where a woman, if a child at the age of 13 can walk in and get a shot of hormone blockers, then walk the fuck out, then that's an issue. But here we go.
Country. So if that's what's going on
Wow.
in Georgia,
Wow.
imagine what's going on everywhere else.
California, hello.
Yeah, when I went for my initial appointment, I literally helped my doctor find gender dysphoria on his chart and mark it for me.
That's insane.
And I walked out with my prescription that day.
I mean, because I do a lot of work with the detrans community, and the problem is I actually don't really care too much about, if you are an adult and you walk into a doctor's office and want estrogen and you walk out. I don't think that's an issue. What is an issue is when doctors are not giving all the information, when they're actually telling you that this is what's right for you, and then it's not. They're actually manipulating their patients. They're manipulating, they say, if you don't do this, you're gonna kill yourself, and all this stuff. So I would actually rather a doctor say, I have no idea what this is gonna do to you, but it's your body, your choice, you can do what you want, and then leave you on your way and you can make that decision.
Right.
I think they're not asking the patient why. Why do you feel this way? It's a simple question.
Another thing I was never informed of, when I started my hormone journey, and now it seems, like common sense, but I was, 20, so it's like, even 20-year-olds can have oversights. No one told me I had to freeze my sperm.
That's crazy.
So
Remember you
I'm
talked
years
about that.
into estrogen. I reached the point of adulthood where you maybe meet a partner where that might be something you want to do. And I learned that I can't. And it's simply because that doctor didn't care to tell me. And why? Who knows? Maybe it was because of money. It was easier for him or better for him to get me in and out and get that money rather than maybe a couple more appointments where I'm having to figure out, how to freeze my sperm in the meantime. But a lot of these doctors are also activists.
They also don't tell trans men that they're going to go through menopause.
Right. There's a lot of issues with trans men. Buck Angel talks about that.
He
a
almost
lot of
died.
issues. Yeah,
he's
he
a
almost
friend
died.
of mine.
Yeah. Insane.
So I actually almost walked up first because I do feel like the system is pretty broken and there's not enough education in the medical system for doctors to be prescribing all the things that they do. Again, discussing SSRIs, I was a victim of that myself. And so, I empathize for those stories. I understand that.
Okay, see, this is bullshit. You say this is the bullshit part. You sat there and said you almost walked up because you have went through the same thing with doctors not doing the job. Motherfuckers, why didn't you walk up? Nobody would have judged you on that. You want to be judged because you want to be buddy buddy with Blossom. Walk your dumb ass up. You have experience in that. That's why I hate motherfuckers like that. Because fuckers like him piss me off. They so ass backwards.
That does happen. I'm not negating that. But I think to negate, medical service to somebody who needs it, who it might be life or death for, just because you feel some type of way about it, isn't right. Why do you care what, little Timothy or Sally are doing or whatever? Why do you personally care what?
Well, Timothy and
they're
Sally are 8
children,
and 12. So.
Okay, just, sorry, we're doing no comments.
But we're not talking about children 7 or 12, and this doesn't happen often. Has it happened? Yeah, it has, because that's the thing. It's a big world. Things happen all the time. Things we can't even imagine happen. It just is a reality. But again, to walk through a door and then close it for other people to walk through, that's kind of messed up, in my opinion.
So to your point for being able to receive hormone therapy in the way that you did, I had a similar experience. I was able to walk in and get access to hormones. And that system was set up through advocacy because of what a lot of community folks are actually facing when it comes to access to hormones, access to medical care, access to all of these things. So a lot of these nonprofits actually got rid of a lot of the red tape, because for some individuals like myself who was actually homeless during my transition.
But I'm gonna end it right there with that. You've seen what I said, because what's my opinion? Blossom is a piece of shit. She's a sellout. She a coon to me. Alexander, you're a piece of shit too. I know that you fuck Blossom, and Blossom's your fucking slave, because both y'all ain't shit. And all y'all done is troll and bullshit on Blair, but then you sit up on another platform do another podcast with one of the people that was on the panel and talk shit about Blair. So both of y'all ain't shit. Blossom and Alex ain't shit. Tell me what you think down in the comment section. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. Like and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel, please. I'm trying to get my numbers up. Hit that bell for notification. Follow me on my other social media platforms. Show your motherfucking love.